We're definitely seeing progress to net zero, and we're seeing organisations make really bold, ambitious statements. It's great to see that more recent announcements around ambition to net zero are actually within the timeframes that we need. We need to be headed to net zero in scope 1 and scope 2, so direct emissions, zero by 2030. In scope 3, so emissions through supply chains, zero by 2040. 2050 is just too late, so it's great to see that ambition being pulled forward.
The direction of travel, I think, is positive, but I think certainly different companies are moving at different paces, significantly different paces, and I think certainly, you know, the sort of short-term headwinds, or the recent headwinds, are probably having a negative effect on that, and I think it's sort of more tempting for individuals to maybe lose that momentum.
So I'm actually really an optimist. I think there is progress being made to net zero. I think we see the costs of new technologies and new infrastructure, renewables coming right down. I think the barriers are less than we might assume, actually. I think that leadership and executive are really understanding it better. I do think sometimes there's a little bit of a tendency to wait and see what the regulations are, but actually business really needs to lead. And if there's one thing we need more of, it's probably more collaboration and telling a credible narrative, and we just go for it.
I think we are making a lot of progress towards net zero. I think with SSE Renewables, we've got a very focused net zero acceleration plan. We're planning to invest in excess of 20 billion over the next 5 or 6 years. And that's going to significantly decarbonise the electricity network. So significant investment in renewables, significant investment in the networks and distribution systems that takes that renewable energy to the end user. I think significant benefit to society as a consequence of that.
So the getting ready bit is going very well, and I think what our bank particularly, has been really good at is walking towards the new opportunities. So things like offshore wind, battery storage and so on, we can walk into the bright new shiny things very straightforwardly. The huge challenge is going to be decarbonising the things that are already on our balance sheet.
There are a number of barriers that organisations are having to really grapple with. One, in some parts of the world, the policy agenda isn't there. Actually, the government policy can often mean that organisations are not able to invest in the way that they might like. Take here in the UK, we know we need to retrofit our housing stock. The enabling government policy just isn't there. There are barriers around financing. Some of the technology that we need to go to net zero isn't yet at scale, so it can be more expensive. And clearly we've got that cultural barrier. We're used to heating our homes to a certain temperature, and we have a lifestyle that we've become very accustomed to. And I think we can keep most of that, but there's a cultural resistance as well that we often see to doing things differently.
Well, I think progress is being made to net zero, yeah, but I think one of the key issues is really this whole mindset shift from a sense of responsibility to one of really embedding it into business strategy, which is really quite difficult, I think. But so it becomes very much a thing which drives the business, as well as being something that we all feel we need to do.
We've got some very focused science-based targets now, which underpin that. And I think we really need to see, a secure policy environment that actually allows us and enables us to deliver on that.